Viewers, the Calcutta High Court today has heard the matter regarding the ED raids on I-PAC's office in Kolkata last week. The court saw a heated exchange of arguments between the ED and the TMC. Now, in a setback to the TMC, the court has dismissed the petition of the West Bengal's ruling party, which had sought protection of the party's data, allegedly seized by the probe agency during the January 8 raids against the political consultancy firm. Now, this comes after the court recorded ED's categorical statement that nothing was seized during last week's searches and that whatever was in possession of the agency was illegally taken away by Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. Now, the court has adjourned the ED's petition, allowing the probe agency to mention the matter again after the Supreme Court concludes its hearing in the case.
The writ petition has been disposed of since no seizure has been taken place. The court has recorded that since the ED has sought for time, sought for adjournment on the ground of the pendency of the special leave petition, and the counsels of the respondents have said that they are willing to hear the matter, they are participate in the proceeding. The matter is adjourned up to the disposal of the SLP by the Supreme Court.
The matter that was preferred by the All India Trinamool Congress was disposed of by Her Ladyship, a law enforcement agency which on record has gone on to the extent saying that Mamata Banerjee had stolen, Mamata Banerjee had taken away all these documents that the enforcement agency was supposed to seize. This is absolutely dangerous, and we are all looking forward to Mamata Banerjee being implicated as an accused in a criminal proceeding, and that too being investigated by the CBI.
All right, and what really were the arguments that were presented before the court? This is what the TMC had to say. In fact, we had seen what the Enforcement Directorate had very clearly said. Some of the main arguments that were made as far as the both sides are concerned, as far as the Calcutta High Court is concerned. Okay, this was the ED's argument to the High Court. In fact, the first argument is that the probe agency hasn't seized anything. They've also gone on to add that there were no records, no digital devices, and documents were seized. In fact, as far as the ED is concerned, they've also added that documents were illegally taken away by Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. They've even argued that the CM, the DGP and CP have committed an offence. They've also argued that unless they are made a party, the plea is not maintainable. They further added that ED raids have nothing to do with the TMC and that the person who filed the petition is not connected to the raids. TMC's petition contains false statements is yet another assertion. No data seized. How can I keep it safe is another argument coming in. They further added that the petition is vague, wrong, as well as non-maintainable. Now, what were the TMC's counters to these arguments in court? The TMC has argued that the ED seized our party's data during the raids. They've also said our petition was filed to protect the party's data and that TMC's political consulting agency was raided. They've also added that the raids were carried out before the assembly polls and that they fear the party's data is being stolen just before the polls. Let's quickly go across to Rajesh, who joined us. Rajesh, there was very clearly a heated argument that took place inside the court, but for the moment, TMC has not been able to garner relief. Now, all eyes will be on the Supreme Court and how they will look at this plea or these arguments coming in from the side of the TMC. Rajesh.
Exactly. That was a clear setback for the state ruling party, Trinamool Congress, and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee as well, since the Kolkata High Court has already disposed of the petition filed by Trinamool Congress itself. See, there was two cases filed before the Kolkata High Court. One was filed by Trinamool Congress and another case was filed by Enforcement Directorate. In their petition, Trinamool Congress, the main allegation was that the Central Probe Agency, Enforcement Directorate, has stolen their information and all those secret documents and confidential data related to their poll strategy. But during the hearing, ED's counsel SB Raju has clearly stated that they couldn't seize anything. They couldn't make the seizure list because Mamata Banerjee took away all those documents which they were supposed to seize. But Mamata Banerjee has seized all those documents instead of ED. So if they want to file a case, TMC should file a case against Mamta Banerjee. That was the version of ED's counsel SB Raju during the hearing.
Right.
However, TMC has opposed their plea and stated that ED's raid was completely politically motivated.
Right.
So that was completely unethical and illegal. But court didn't entertain and didn't accept the logic of ED's counsel SB Raju and dispose of the matter.
Raju, thanks so much for joining us with that particular update. In fact, we'll continue to track all the developments legally speaking. But for the moment, let's take it across to our guest, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP. We have Barrister Kabir Shankar Bose, political analyst, joining us. Tausif Rahman is national spokesperson of TMC. We also have Dr. Akashdeep Puni, political analyst, with us on the show. Tausif Rahman, the very fact that the High Court has not granted relief, the ED says we didn't seize anything. If there was any illegal seizure, it was done by the Chief Minister and by the police. Your response to that, Tausif?
Good evening, Madhav. Well, the case is still on. I mean, there is no setback for Trinamool Congress or whatsoever. See, Madhav, it's a very simple, straight things. We have a fundamental right, legal right and right of privacy. If the opposite party says this is not legal and we say it's legal, the court should decide. ED says we have not seized anything as such. Then what were they doing for 4 hours? The opposite learned lawyer was bullying the court. And I'm sure you have seen that, and making irrelevant requests. He even say, "Hamara mic check kar lo, hamare mic mein koi sabotage to nahi kar diya." But anyways, we are not under caveat. The opposite party argues, yes, you are. But it doesn't show any online status as well. I mean, to be precise. But now it's useless, Madhav, to argue on TV. You say it's illegal. I say I have my right. We did now. I mean, so let the court decide, but we will not allow to sabotage 2000.
Charu Pragya, this is not a setback. We will not allow the sabotage to take place on part of agencies. Respond to Tausif.
Bengal election, sir.
Yeah, respond to Tausif.
Not allowed to sabotage.
Madhav, good evening. Time and time again in West Bengal, we have seen that obstruction of justice has become a way of life for this government. And Mamta Didi seems to take a lot of pride in it. When it was the time of Arjikar Medical College, you know, she facilitated an entire mob to come into a college after a horrific rape and murder, and all the evidence was wiped out. By the time the police complaint was filed, or by the time the CBI actually turned up, there was no evidence that was left.
We're not talking about Aravali.
Now, Tausif, I know facts trigger you because what I'm saying here really upsets you. But since I didn't interrupt you, I expect you to allow me my say.
Let's go one by one. There's plenty of time. We'll go one by one, please. Charu and then Tausif.
So it's not just about Arjikar. Do you remember when Sheikh Shahjahan had to be investigated in the land mafia case by the CBI? The same thing happened. The cars of the CBI officials were set aflame. That is how violent the governance in West Bengal is. If officers are not spared, you see how normal citizens are treated. In fact, we saw that in Murshidabad most recently, where again the court ruled that police sat there and allowed the entire massacre to happen. So again, Mamta Banerjee has stood in the way of justice. She's obstructing justice, and this is all punishable by law, by the way. So if you walk away with evidence, it is punishable by law. Your own High Court did not see it fit to maintain your application. The Supreme Court is going to decide, and at the end of the day, the people of West Bengal are sick and tired of your bloody politics, where money is changing hands, where thousands of crores of hawala has been unearthed now by CBI, and you want to cover up that trail because your politics is not clean.
Okay. You want to cover up that trail. Tausif Rahman, respond.
Charuji, yes, India is very much fed up of this bloody communal violence what you are doing in India right now. I don't want to go Aravali Hills. I don't want to go Manipur. I don't want to go with Hemant Soren. I don't want to go Bhupesh Baghel.
It's not an abuse. I mean it very literally.
This is what I'm telling you.
Bloody politics, I mean people being harmed, women being raped, and again obstruction of justice because your police refuses to even write down an FIR. We will not allow that to continue anymore.
You say about the bloody politics, I am talking about the bloody communal violence which is happening in India right now. So let's not divert the topic. We are talking about
one second. Let me just come in. Once again, there is no need to use adjectives which certainly are not going to be palatable, and I'm requesting both of you, let's keep it civil. Let's keep it civil and let's come back to the case at hand. Tausif, ultimately the argument is this, that Mamta Banerjee's intervention, just a second, Charu please, let me just come in here. The simple question, Tausif, is this: Mamta Banerjee's intervention at that point of time and the stand of the TMC is that this is overreach by ED. If this was indeed overreach, then surely the court would have granted some kind of relief to the TMC, but that has not happened.
Exactly.
Madhav, the opposition learned lawyer clearly said that we don't want to discuss anything over here. The matter is subjected to the Supreme Court and we will discuss over there. But though, yes, the judgment came from here also, the judge set something and we have to abide the law. We cannot go beyond the law. But
an interim order could have been given.
Charu ji, agar aap baat karna chahte hain, aap karo. You go. See, I know you felt bad about Aravali Hills.
If no data was seized, then nothing needs protection.
You felt bad about Aravali Hills.
Let's go one by one. Let's go one by one. Barrister Kabishakar Bose, your response. This isn't a setback, says the TMC. Your response.
Madhav, it's like this. West Bengal is the only state where we see a sitting chief minister. She has to personally go and do the work of lawyers. When an accused is arrested or lawyers have to do legal work, it's the job of lawyers. But in West Bengal, we see a sitting chief minister walks into an ongoing raid. These are serious issues. This is a breakdown of the constitution. We are repeatedly seeing it in West Bengal. The TMC made a specific prayer to the Calcutta High Court that it should be preserved. That petition was disposed of. Tomorrow, the Supreme Court is going to hear the ED's petition. Please understand, this is the ED's petition where Trinamool Congress is on a caveat. So this is coming up tomorrow. So let's see what the Supreme Court has to see tomorrow. But it is only West Bengal where we see this brazenness by a chief minister, where central agencies are interfered with. These are serious charges. These are criminal charges. If 20
Why are we debating this? Dr.
Money
Akashdeep Muni, why we are debating this? Certainly, of course, it is not my case that courts have not come down heavily on central agencies, so on and so forth. If they have a case, they will put it forth before the Supreme Court. But this is certainly highly unusual that you see a sitting chief minister actually entering a venue when there is a raid taking place. Because this can be a recipe for all sorts of disasters, because we have sitting elected representatives doing this. What is the precedent being set is a question that many are asking.
See, Madhavji, today all talk about breakdown of constitution. Let the courts take the call. In Calcutta High Court, there was no adverse orders against Banerjee, the chief minister. The FC did not issue any injunction, stays, penalties against the chief minister for her actions, which BJP wanted. Instead, ED pleas seeking to implead her as a party for alleged obstruction was adjourned by the Honorable High Court. High Court also highlighted ED's overreach by noting the agency's unsubstantiated claims and reliance on unverified affidavits. This is similar to previous ED-TMC clashes.
But the relief was not granted at the end of the day. That is also something that we will have to know, Dr. Akashdeep Muni. We'll have to leave it there. Charu Pragya, Kabir Shankar Bose, Tausif Rahman, as well as Akashdeep Muni. Thanks so much for joining us this evening.